Okay, this is my module and chapter 7 observation. It might be a little long-winded because I'm going to bounce around to a couple different things. Um, I really, the first thing that stuck out to me throughout this chapter is once you get to the middle of the chapter and we start talking about um, relational dialectics, right? Um, Dialectics, sorry. I kept saying dialectics, that's not what it is. Sorry, let me adjust. Okay, perfect. Um, and one that was especially this time of year is difficult for me and my family. My dad was a really, really big holidays person, right? And so November, end of October through January was a really special time. And I'm the youngest kid, and I lost my dad when I was 20, and he was like my best friend. Just like we were like the same people. Anytime somebody bumps into me that knows my dad and didn't know me, they say you're Mike Austinson, and so. Um, but there's that Sesame Street episode. I can't believe this is what I'm drawing it to, where they had Andrew Garfield on, and he talks about grief and losing his mom. Um, and contradiction stuck out to me a lot this week because there's in that snippet where he talks about his mom, he talks about how grief is lovely and beautiful because you cannot miss somebody and grieve without having loved them, right? And so that part just really stuck out to me. It was fun to revisit memories and look through that this week. Um, I liked how it talks about maintaining relationships, right? We, I think there's so much focus now on the difficulty of starting relationships, right? Finding friends that I think sometimes we put our other friendships on the back burner, right? And so talking about how to keep a relationship moving and how to and like the needs of relationship, right? Intimacy in some respect, emotional intimacy, physical intimacy. Um, it, was- me and my wife talk about things like that a lot. We're really, really open. We talk about everything. I think that's really important. Is that there's nothing that's off limit. You guys can just talk. Um, and the building of intimacy as you go through different stages of your relationship, especially, is so important and understated, right? Because people change, and so you have to find ways to grow in the same direction, even though you're not going to grow at the same rate. Um, I liked how it talked about how I got the question in um, the quiz talking about true or false. We wouldn't have any close relationships if we didn't talk to strangers, right? Um, and I think that it's true, right? We of course we'd have to talk to strangers. Everyone's a stranger at some point. Um, I think that the skill of finding out how to talk to strangers without somebody putting them in your way is important, right? Being at the grocery store and noticing that somebody looks good today and letting them know, hey, I really like your hair today, even if you don't know them. Just kindness to people who you don't know. It was a really cool chapter. I'm really excited to finish up my cultural presentation. I'm doing it on drag queens. Um, I think it's topical, and it's a group of people that I love. A group of people that I have been told that like you might fit in with this group of people. I've actually thought about doing drag shows before, um, but overall, it's a really cool chapter. I think that we take for granted relationships often, especially with where the world is currently at, and how we're all struggling to, how everyone it seems like always is struggling to get along, and how there's always a million reasons to hate each other. I think we have lost sight of the skill of learning of being okay being different and loving each other despite differences, right? There are lines, right? It is okay to struggle loving somebody over moral differences. That happens. But you have to remember that they are a person just like you, and they're trying. Anyway,